The vegetarians who turned into butchers. What the hell is this about? Let's jump right in. Piece of the New York Times. It's about a month old, but I just came across this, so I want to do a deep dive. We have Kate Kavanaugh, one of these former vegetarians who turned into a butcher. And she says flat iron steak is the second most tender muscle of the steer's body. She focuses on her knife work. This guy sits on the scapula, and I love it because it has beautiful lacy fat. Doesn't sound like vegetarian or vegan talk there. Sounds like a pure carnivore. It says before she was a butcher, Miss Kavanaugh was a strict vegetarian. She stopped eating meat for more than a decade, she said, out of deep love for animal life and respect for the environment. As did I. This was the course of many vegetarians and vegans. So what happened? Let's see. She became a butcher for exactly the same reasons. This ought to be good. This ought to be good. So backtracking a little bit here. We have these flowery pictures. Look, she goes to the farmer's market. Like, she's not that bad, Even though she owns a butcher shop, she eats mostly a vegetable-based diet. I have people come up to me all the time and say, well, I only eat a little bit of meat. I really do love cheese, though. It begs the question, how much of a very immoral behavior is acceptable? It really does beg the question. There's no nutritional requirement to eat meat or any animal products. And we need to ask ourselves, how much is acceptable morally? Really, the answer should be not at all. So she became a butcher because she loves animals. So let's see what this has to say. She's one in a small but successful cadre of like-minded former vegetarians and vegans who became butchers in hopes of revolutionizing the current food system in the United States. So, let me be clear here. They're not revolutionizing anything. Okay? Revolution involves an overthrow and a replacement of the current system. That's what the vegans are doing. That's what the vegans are doing. You'll see, if anything, these people are really just making people more comfortable. They're allowing them to stay comfortable with their bad habits. So it says they refer to themselves as ethical butchers, which is a complete oxymoron. There's no such thing. They've opened up shops that offer meat from animals bred on grassland and pasture, with animal well-being. Not sure where the killing part fits in with the well-being, but be that as it may. It says animal well-being is one of their primary goals, right? As well as environmental conservation and less wasteful whole animal butchery. It's just like, if animal well-being is your goal, be vegan. Don't exploit animals. It's a sharp contrast to industrial-scale factory farming that produces much of the nation's meat. It's come under investigation and criticism for its waste, overuse of antibiotics, and inhumane, hazardous conditions for the animals. You're dooming them to death no matter what. So the idea that, they've come under criticism for their inhumane and hazardous conditions for animals, it's an inherent hazardous condition. They are going to be murdered. They're going to be killed for their flesh. These pictures, they make it seem so majestic. Look at her holding up the rib steak that she just butchered. It looks so good because it's grass-fed. I'm basically in this to turn the conventional meat industry on its head. I mean, listen to these quotes. It's one of the best steaks I ever had. I like my meat black and blue, crisp-edged, velvety, and still remarkably juicy. Like, you don't... A person who really cares about the animal would not be describing eating meat in this way. Like, it's such a selfish thing to do. You know, like you say you care about the animal, and then you take its life, and you're just rejoicing in the feeling of pleasure that it gives you to eat the animal. This is just silly. Silly. So it goes on to talk about the idea of whether meat eaters would be comfortable with killing the animals themselves. And then we get on to Janice Schindler here. And this is just, like, disturbing. We'll read on here for her. So she was a vegan for 5 years. She's now the general manager of Meat Hook Butcher Shop in Brooklyn. The animal in question was a turkey at Kill Your Own Thanksgiving dinner event at a local farm. She goes on to say, "It was really morbid. I was the only one who signed up," she said. "I'd never killed anything before. Turkeys are such large animals, but when you put them in a poultry cone upside down, they completely relax. Then you can cut an artery. It stuns them and they bleed. Here's your poultry cone. I don't, I'm just not seeing it. I mean, maybe it's me. But, you know, not ethical. Not ethical at all. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, what are we talking about here? Stuffing an animal upside down in a cone, slicing its neck? It was super gross, but I found it fascinating. I mean, the experience was the gateway to her training as a butcher, which she began immediately afterward. So she was vegan for 5 years, and then slicing a chicken or a turkey in the throat fascinated her, and it turned her into a butcher immediately. Here they go again. Miss Chandler's transition from vegan to ethical butcher was similar to that of several butchers I spoke with. Hers began in high school. As a member of the National Future Farmers of America, she was charged with caring for a baby lamb as it grew from a tiny ball of fleece to a bleeding, plancing adolescent. "Nothing prepared me for the emotional earthquake of selling that lamb for meat," she said. "His name was Frederick." That was the first identity crisis that led her to become a vegan. Her second came in college, when she returned to eating meat after learning that soybean and koi monocultures that accounted for much of her vegan diet were wreaking havoc on the environment. Like, first of all, soy and corn accounted for much of her diet? Like, what was she eating? I mean, these are the things that are fed to animals. Like, it's so backwards. Like, they wreak havoc on the environment because we produce them in such massive quantities to feed these animals. I mean, you know, soy can be a staple food for a vegan. I mean, to say that soy and corn accounted for much of her diet, though, I mean, I'd really be interested in seeing what she was actually eating. I felt I was being lied to as a consumer every time I go into Trader Joe's and see a fake farm on the package of a GMO soy burger. So this is enraging. She felt like she was being lied to as a consumer. And she markets herself as an ethical butcher. I mean, like, talk about lying to your customers. I knew it was up to me to find an alternative food system. You should just, like, eat non-GMO soy. Like, get organic soy. You can get organic tofu for $2 a pound. I mean, it's not that hard. It's really not. And the idea that, like, oh, because Trader Joe's has, GMO soy burgers, like, veganism sucks, and grass-fed beef is the way to go. Grazing animals on grassland is significantly more expensive than raising steers on feedlots, making the meat more costly for consumers. Ms. Kavanaugh, for example, charges $21 a pound for top sirloin steak, as compared with $8.99 at nearby King's supermarket. So, like, this is something here that's, like, not even, a solution for, like, regular people. They're like, I want to revolutionize the food system. Well, okay, so what if, I mean, people come to vegans and they say, what about, people in food deserts that can't afford, to eat a vegan diet? But the truth of the matter is that vegan staples worldwide are some of the cheapest foods. Rice and beans, some of the cheapest foods you can buy. $1 a pound. Sometimes even less. Beans you can get like 69 cents a pound. Where's the criticism for this? That she's selling meat for 2.5 times the regular price, because it's grass-fed. I mean, it's such a double standard. When we first opened, people were surprised at the prices. Our costs are much higher than what a giant company pays. We are paying to have control over the quality of our animals, what they're being fed. Once people understood that, the business took off. Like, But right, so that's you having, a sustainable business model, but that's not what you said you wanted. Like, understand, these people are really just taking advantage of this trend. Like, people wanting to, have grass-fed meat and know where their animals were slaughtered and blah, blah, blah. They don't really care about revolutionizing the food system. If they did, they wouldn't be doing this. They wouldn't be selling meat for 2.5 times the price of what is on the market and just saying, well, ours is ethical, so it's, we're really making a difference. Here's a nice picture, like, got a stamp in its ear, the pig. I guess it's ethical because she took a picture of it smiling. But why aren't they showing any slaughter pictures? That's what I want to know. Like, why aren't they showing pictures of these animals being humanely killed? Ethically butchered? Like, why aren't they showing that? Maybe because it's not really ethical. She became a vegan or a vegetarian as a teenager on the day she learned that it can take as much as 12 pounds of grain to yield 1 pound of beef. The underlying fallacy here is that cows don't have to eat grain. She said they have 5 stomachs evolved to eat grass. She spent high school and college subsisting on a vegetarian diet of flavored yogurt, garden burgers, pizza pockets, and mac and cheese. Frozen vegetables. As soon as she started eating meat again, her health improved. Mental acuity stepped up. She lost weight, her acne cleared up, her hair got better. She felt like a fog lifted. All the meat was from healthy, grass-fed animals, reared on the farms where she worked. Other former vegetarians reported that they too felt better after eating some grass-fed meat in their diets. Take that, vegans. I mean, no matter what diet you're on, if you're eating shitty food, you're going to feel shitty. I mean, they even admitted she was eating pizza pockets and mac and cheese. Like, that's not a healthy diet. Give me a break. Another benefit to grass-fed and pastured meat, it can be absolutely delicious. So again, these people really do not care about animal welfare at all. Mr. Appleton vividly remembers the first bacon sandwich made with pasture-raised pork in his post-vegetarian life. I thought it was the greatest thing that had ever hit my mouth. You don't say these things if you care about animals. You just don't. You just don't. This guy, yeah, you're real macho. You're real manly. So, later on they talk about, this guy getting vitriolic comments on his Instagram feed. Vegan backlash. He has a business based on the fact that he's sad about the way animals are being treated. Okay. Other butchers say they have been similarly criticized. Again, like this idea that vegans are such assholes for criticizing people for killing animals for no reason. Now, let's see what's on this guy's Instagram. So, I mean, just look at some of these pictures here. So, they're saying that the whole idea is, they want to change the way that they raise the animal. Like, that's the problem. The problem is not killing animals and eating them. The problem is the process. So it's not the what, but the how. Well, I mean, if you look at this Instagram page, it looks like any other butcher shop that has factory farmed meat. Like, I can't go to this page and say, oh, wow, these animals really look like they were taken care of. I mean, you're just not putting forth that image at all. This is just silly. There's nothing here. Where's a cow on a pasture? This is the best one here. Little known fact, if you come to the shop in a shirt that says meat, I'm going to make you model it in the walk-in. This is somebody that cares about animal welfare, folks. Since I became a butcher, I've been called some horrible things on the internet, and it doesn't seem right. Get over it. The animals have been through much worse, I can tell you that. They see their work as Mr. Standing does. A stand against an industry whose practices they abhor. You're part of the industry. You're an arm of the industry. I opted out in the only way that I could, by rejecting meat. Now, Belcampo is how I opt out. I can do it by changing the system. I see both stages in my life as totally consistent. Again, they're pushing this as an idea as if it's, totally sustainable. So, nutritionstudies.org says on the sustainability of grass-fed cattle. Assuming no change in the total number of cattle and swine currently consumed in the United States, we would need more than 2.5 billion acres of land. The problem is that there are fewer than 2.3 billion acres in the entire United States. Can something be sustainable when it isn't even feasible? So, I hear all the time, stop, why are you pushing veganism? Not everybody's going to be vegan. At least in theory, everybody could be vegan. It is feasible. Everybody eating grass-fed beef is not feasible. That's why we stopped doing it in the first place. And this idea that somehow it's ethical, just because they were eating grass and not corn, is laughable.
Okay, now, I don't agree with factory farming. I think that's bad, but I only eat grass-fed, free-range meat. Now, I'd love to hear one good argument for why it's wrong to kill animals when they outdoors.
This type of thing really could dissuade some people from actually taking the step and going vegan. If they have any idea in their head that what they're doing is okay, and they say, well, I don't like factory farming either, and I was going to go vegan, but Now I found, humanely raised animals. Not good enough. Not good enough. We have to fight this. We have to make sure that people understand there is no way to humanely kill an animal for its flesh or any product. Um, there was one part here that I think I skipped over, but here, so when they're talking about getting called bad things on the internet, there's a larger problem here. The problem with concentrated feedlots and with animals being commodities. That's what we should be attacking, not each other. They are attacking that. You're using animals as commodities. This is not hard. This is not hard. They're attacking you because you're using animals as commodities. And that is wrong no matter what. It doesn't matter if you give them grass, if you give them, concrete. It doesn't matter. So, don't fall for this crap. Time to go vegan is now.